Speaking of boomer and zoomer discussions, I saw a good old Alex Valle taking to the mean streets talking about Canada Cup this weekend. I saw lots of people who weren't there saying the event was trash, and I saw a lot of people who weren't there saying the event was dope. That's weird to me. You know, I was there, so I can tell you whether it was good or not. One thing that I'll say at the start of this is I think running a tournament is really fucking difficult. I've mentioned a lot of times that I never, and I mean it, I never want to run a tournament. Running a tournament seems fucking hard. I think actually running a tournament is a ton of work and a ton of effort, and it seems like a very thankless job to me. That being said, people who attend tournaments are paying customers who get an experience, and how the experience of the event is for them is very important, and it's a product that you're selling to them. And if they have a bad time, they're allowed to vote with their wallet or complain about things that are frustrating or bad about the event. And this is what I'll say about Canada Cup as an experience. I thought the event was fine for a tournament that was run in 2013. It was an extremely small event. It felt like an old school tournament, and that is both good and bad. It was an extremely small ballroom. Everybody was drinking because there ain't shit else to do. Everybody's having a fun time. Everybody's hanging out. The reason it was cool is because it was an extremely small tournament, and there's not a lot of people to cater to. There's not a lot of people there for games outside of Street Fighter V, and the Street Fighter V bracket is pretty small. So you don't have a lot of people to satisfy. It's a small tournament, and everybody just got kind of drunk and had a good time after the tournament was over. And, you know, the event, it ran fine, right? I didn't see any major issues or concerns or frustrations or anything like that. And a lot of people who watched it saw Daigo drunk on stream and thought that was funny and cool. That being said, I don't say that it's a particularly great modern tournament. I think the experience of it, I wouldn't recommend for people to travel to. It doesn't stand up to, I think, most modern fighting game tournaments in the things that it offers you as an experience, as a competitor. I think if you're not in that area, or you don't need CPT points or whatever other tour it's on, there's probably not a huge reason for you to attend it from far away and spend a lot of money like you would on an event like Combo Breaker, CEO, Evo, etc. That being said, I saw people say it was a glorious return to the Canada Cups of old. And if you mean of old, then yeah, it probably did feel like Canada Cup 2013. And then I saw a lot of people saying it was an awful, god-awful, bad, hugely failure of an event, and I don't think that's true either. It was just an okay tournament, nothing fancy about it. Should it be a CPT Premier event? Hell no. Come on, man. Canada Cup to me sort of ran its course as a Premier event, and it's lost a lot of goodwill about how the tournament should run. You should probably give it to another Canadian TO to try running a ranking event and then maybe bump it up from there. The sheer amount of goodwill that it has to continue to exist and people to attend it in 2019 after the shit years it had in the last 2 years is fascinating. There's other events like Toryuken or Pinnacle, or, you know, there's other Canadian events that I'm sure would be better for a ranking event for it. You know, Ian was tweeting some shit about it and saying, you know, people should be accountable about how it was before and stuff, and I agree with all that. And then I saw this tweet from Valle: I would love to see you run an event and cry when shit hits the fan, but you won't because you would rather ride the coattails of other successes like Entropy. Thanks very much. Or failures. Carry on with your wonderful career. Fist bump. I mean, look, I said I think TOing is really hard. I don't ever want to TO. But I mean, also, people spend hundreds and like over $1,000 to attend an event. And if it's a bad event, you should be allowed to say that. And if it has somehow still remained a CPT Premier after having 2 disastrous years, you should be allowed to be like, hey, it probably shouldn't be a Premier. And this is also coming from a guy who's started commentary because I literally thought to myself, I don't like the way people are doing this. I should try it. So I literally did what's listed here, and I still think it's a bad take. Yeah, Curly, the seating issues were bad too. Come on, man. Canada Cup wasn't a dope tournament. It wasn't a bad tournament. It's just a very dated and not modernized tournament. And I think a lot of people had fun at it, and that's really cool. I don't drink, so a lot of the charm of the event is going to be lost on me. Yeah, the brackets. Dude, I remember looking at the brackets, and when I woke up in the morning, they were different. That's a bad sign for the tournament when I looked at the brackets the night before, and when I woke up in the morning, they were different. That's really bad for the competitors of a CPT Premier event. If you're a CPT, I think you have to be responsible to the players and events, right? People have to pay lots of money to travel to all these tournaments, and I think the decision makers for CPT have to be pretty conscious of what tournaments deserve it or not. It should not be a Premier event. That seems like a pretty easy choice, I think. Brutus says, I went from having to play Itabashi to Samurai to Haitani to Nephew to Gamerby in less than 48 hours. Sheesh. That was pretty bad. It's like so bad that you could have played with one of them to prepare for the other one, and then 2 hours later being like, oh, well, whoops, my bad. I go swinging this controller. It's cracking me up. The Daigo force function? Oh, shit. I think I did see this, actually. Is it the phone on thing? That's pretty good. I don't know if you guys could tell very much on stream, but Daigo was definitely shaking his hips. He's putting a lot into the hips there. You guys couldn't tell because of the monitor, but there was a lot. Like, I was off to the side, and this guy Daigo was definitely trying to shake his ass. And I say trying because I don't know if he's ever tried before, but based on how it went, I assume that was his first time. All the Japanese players were very, very drunk and enjoying it. I mean, this is part of what made Canada Cup fun, right? Was the 5v5 and how everybody was like really excited for this. This is cool.